Even in cases like Mars combined with Qingyang, you still need to see whether you have a strong enough main star and whether that main star has become a good structure. So, what kind of star brilliance, when placed together with Mars, would be most suitable for it? Hello everyone. Last time I made a video about what kinds of traits lead to success, and it received a huge response. In less than 24 hours, it surpassed 10,000 views. This shows that everyone is really eager to know what special qualities people have. Also, many might overlook the fact that actually malefic stars can be very helpful to us. If you use malefic stars well, life will be free of worries. In fact, malefic stars can bring us great benefits. This point is something we often mention in our classes. Think about it. In Zi Wei Astrology, everyone is fascinated by the fire pool, green pool, and Kesu far patterns, which can bring about rapid success and instant fame. You'll notice that these actually involve malefic stars, but because malefic stars are traditionally seen as something negative, when we see them, we tend to feel afraid. However, in reality, as I mentioned last time, these stars, because of their calmness and persistence, in fact, many successful people have these stars in their life palace or career palace. Of course, in the comments of the last video, someone immediately replied, saying that they also have these stars in their life palace, but why are they just a civil servant? They haven't been able to become extremely wealthy or successful. Here, I have to explain to everyone that this is actually still related to which main stars you have. Also, whether your luck cycle brings enough Lu, Quan, and K stars is also relevant. But relatively speaking, being able to stay dedicated and steady in a job and consistently doing this thing well and then gradually rising step by step. Of course, this also requires a very calm and persistent personality to be able to achieve this. Those who experience sudden bursts of success or give themselves a huge push of motivation, well, the Xing star doesn't really have this trait. But there is another star called Mars, which actually possesses this kind of trait. So today, let's talk about another type of success trait, the trait of successful people associated with Mars. So what about Mars? People with this trait are usually more suited to starting their own businesses. Or they're more suited to developing something new or doing things that are more pioneering. Because compared to rationality, this trait is about persistence. But Mars, just like a fire, represents having big dreams, being bold enough to charge forward and doing many things without hesitation. Many people often confuse Mars with hydrogen and oxygen. Mars also seems very impulsive, wanting to do things right away. Qingyang too seems to act without hesitation when it comes to doing something. But actually, the difference between them is that with Qingyang, you tell yourself, this is something I've thought through and decided on. Mars isn't like that. Mars acts purely on instinct. When I get a feeling that feels right, I go for it. That's why people joke that when Mars or Qingyang is in the spouse palace, it suggests a flash marriage. If your fortune line passes through the spouse palace, it also shows a tendency for flash marriage. If your natal chart's spouse palace is activated by your fortune line, you might also have a flash marriage. Why not Tuoluo or Xing? Because Tuoluo needs to think longer, and Xing needs even more time and precise calculations. Mars and Qingyang tend to rush into marriage. So how do these flash marriages differ? The difference is that with Qingyang, the person feels that this is a decision they've made for themselves. They've clearly told themselves why. But with Mars, you don't even need to ask for a reason. If you ask them why, they can't really explain it. They just say, I don't know, I just love them. I feel like I don't, but they don't believe me. This is what Mars is like. So if one day you find out that your husband is having an affair, and at the same time Mars is transiting your marriage palace, honestly, you just need to wait it out. Because no matter how intense his passion feels in that moment, once he moves past it, the fire will die out. Once the fire is gone, everything becomes negotiable, and he might even come back. This is a very important trait of Mars. Many people, because of this characteristic, Mars flares up quickly and dies down just as fast, tend to think, oh, that's just how Mars is. For example, we often say you shouldn't put Mars in the wealth palace. If it's in the wealth palace, money gets spent as if you're burning joss paper. Money just gets burned away recklessly. If it's in the life palace, the personality might be impulsive and emotional. If it's in the career palace, jobs might not last long. People tend to interpret it as, oh, it just burns up quickly and then it's gone. And that's the nature of Mars. But if you think about it seriously, there are many times in life when we actually need that bit of reckless impulsiveness, right? Often what we need is a kind of passion, a kind of all-in attitude. I just feel like I have to do this. If you look at many so-called entrepreneurs or people who start their own businesses and you listen to their stories, you'll find that at some turning point or critical moment, they realized, So they just go for it, give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, they'll deal with it then. There's no particular reason, no deep thinking involved. It's just acting on impulse. And often, it's precisely this way that we get a chance at success. This is where Mars gives us a lot of emotional support. So when you find that your Mars is in the house of marriage, you tend to fall in love recklessly. If Mars is in your ascendant or in the house of wealth, of course, on the negative side, people might say, oh, this person is impulsive. And then what? If you happen to be in a good main chart structure, then what about this Mars? This impulse will become a huge driving force, making you feel unstoppable, making you feel that anything can be overcome. That's also why, actually, if Mars is together with Qing Yang, traditional ancient texts will tell you that it's actually a very prosperous combination. When Mars is together with Tuo Luo star, it can also be because of this. Mars can help reduce the problems caused by Tuo Luo, because no matter how long Tuo Luo gets tangled up, I always have to take action at some point. This urge to take action allows me to resolve things. Tuo Luo might spend a long time overthinking, unsure of what decision to make, and in such situations, it's good. However, when we teach, we tell everyone that even in cases like Mars combined with Qing Yang, you still need to see if you have a strong enough main star and whether the main star forms a good structure. Only then will you have a chance to make the right bet when you take a risk. You can take a gamble, but you want to do it when your luck is good. If you gamble when your luck is bad, that won't work. So, what kind of stars, when paired with Mars, are most suitable? The first is the Tan Lang star because it has a very clear structure. This combination is called Huo Tan Ge. Of course, Huo Tan Ge means rapid success, becoming famous very quickly. So, for the Tan Lang star, of course, it hopes to be able to. Only when he enters the cultural circle will he form the Huo Tan Ke combination, because you need enough desire and enough ability to achieve this. You might ask, isn't Tan Lang often alone? Actually, Tan Lang is often paired with other stars like Lian Tan, Ji Tan, or Yi Tan. So what happens if you add Mars to these combinations, forming the Huo Tan Ge? It still counts. So what does this mean? It means that if it's Wu Tan and you add Mars, it indicates that in the situation of the Huo Tan Ge, it helps the previous main star, which is Wu Q. If it's Zi Tan, then in the situation of the Huo Tan Ge, it helps the previous Zi Wei. That's what it means. So similarly, if today I have Wu Tan, but my Tan Lang doesn't have the 4 transformations and I only have Wu Q, is that okay? That's also fine. In this case, Mars can still exert its energy. Think about it. When we look at the main star, if today I have Wu Tan and Wu Q transforms into Quan, what does that mean? It means that I work very pragmatically and diligently in my life. I'm very knowledgeable and I have access to resources from various fields. I want to be able to have control over this matter. If I'm in the life palace, I want to control my own life. In the career palace, I want to control my work. In the wealth palace, I want to control my finances. In this kind of situation, I still have abilities, qualities, and passion. If you add Mars to the mix, how could this person possibly not succeed? Unless their luck is truly terrible and every June they can't get through it well, unless that's the case, but the chances are very low. So, in the same situation, if he and he are put together, as long as he is a wolf, has a path, has power, or the star next to him, whether it's Wook, Renshin, or Zi Wei, as long as he brings power and opportunity, basically, when this Mars is added, it indicates that he has very strong qualities for success. At that point in time, it will be used in his luck cycle, Destiny Palace, Official Career Palace, or Wealth Palace. That is enough for him to take a gamble or to make an effort. Now, if he is not a Tan Lang, greedy wolf, generally speaking, it is said that Mars does not like to be paired with Wuku, so in that case, don't spend recklessly or waste resources. Right? But at this time, if your Wook star doesn't have any other negative influences, meaning you don't have supplementary stars like Toluo, Jiang, or even Lingxing, then that's all fine. So, if your Wook star doesn't have any negative aspects, it means you don't have any major issues with your financial mindset. If that's the case, and Wook is in Hualu or Huaquan, then as long as your property palace isn't too bad, basically, you can still take a gamble because it shows that you have the ability. Now, the property palace is your wealth vault. As long as it's not too damaged, you're fine. You can still dominate on your own, you can still give it a shot, and you can still unleash the passion of Mars. What about the others? Oh, if today it's the Qianfu star, Zi Wei star, or the Sun star, actually, all of them are fine, as long as they're in the right position, and combined with Mars, it means that at this moment, you have a real chance to achieve your dreams and succeed. So stop worrying. What shouldn't you worry about? When the Taiyin star is combined with Mars, sometimes it means you might overthink things, or your values might be affected. It's different from normal people, so you might make the wrong choices. What else? The Tianji star, the characteristic of the Tianji star is that it's very rational with a lot of logical thinking. But think about it. Its main nature is rational and logical, but its secondary nature urges it to be impulsive. Doesn't that create confusion? So the Tianji star doesn't work. What about the Tianliang star? The Tianliang star is fine, as long as it's not paired with the Tianji star, because if it's together with Tianji, it will be influenced by Tianji's nature. What else is there? The Linsen and Tianxiang star systems. The Lin and Tianxiang systems have big problems. For example, the Tianxiang star is afraid of encountering inauspicious stars, especially Mars. This means that because of your impulsive personality, you might have interpersonal issues. So, these two groups of stars, even though the Tianxiang star, as for Xiangqin, there's nothing to say. Xiangqin only draws boundaries. He doesn't have the path or the circle, so he doesn't have this opportunity. What about Linzhen? Linzhen does have it, but unless Linzhen is transformed into Lianzhenghua Lu, it's not really suitable to put them together. Now, if we're talking about the Jumen star, Jumen specifically refers to when the sun is in the Wang position with Jumen. When Jumen also brings in the path and the circle, and then you add Mars, this actually means that this person has a significant, because not many people know this about Jumen. When Jumen transforms, it becomes hidden. He is empty, lonely, and cold. He feels hollow inside, so he needs the sun to shine on him. From a certain perspective, this sense of insecurity can also turn into desire because he needs something to fill that void. He has both desire and capability. On top of that, he has passion, so of course he also has the chance to succeed. And what about the Tiantong star? The Tiantong star is such a laid-back star, so it definitely needs passion. Pairing it with Mars is actually pretty good, especially since, just like before, Mars will guide it and open up paths and circles for it. So actually, we don't need to be afraid of the explosive stars. As long as they appear at the right time, with the right combinations, and are placed in the right palace, they often become a great opportunity for us to achieve success and fame in life. So if you enjoyed this, please remember to like and share. And also leave more comments. You can let us know if you like this and from what perspective you'd like us to discuss Zi Wei Do Shu. Later on, if we have the chance, we'll also introduce more to everyone. How can the entanglement of the Tuo Luo Xin star help us in life? And how can the stubbornness of the Qin Yang star, when used resolutely against opposition, help us directly improve our lives? Thank you, everyone.